Welcome back to the Remember Me podcast. My name is Val, and I am here to kind of help walk you along this journey and maybe give you some feedback and advice that no one else is necessarily dishing out. What we're going to do is dive into our topic for today, which is the top 5 reasons why you should not become a caregiver. Now, let me explain. I'm not saying you shouldn't become a caregiver. I'm saying if these 5 reasons are the reasons that you are using to justify why you should embark upon this journey, bail now. These are terrible reasons. We will talk about the top 5 reasons why you should, but I will tell you that you'll find yourself on this list, and it's usually because you don't have a lot of time to plan. So for whatever reason, you're on the caregiver journey. Most people don't embark upon this with a clear, on this date, time, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. It's not something you put on your vision board. It's just a circumstance of life. And you find yourself on the journey and you feel that you are the right person to take on this task. And you do. And you don't necessarily have a lot of time to consider that. Sometimes you don't have time to have all the deep dive conversations and discussions. And so if you're already on the caregiver journey and you find yourself in this list of the 5 reasons why you should not, rest assured we'll have the 5 reasons you should. And all you need to do, and this is what I encourage every caregiver to do, is to deep breath and evaluate. Right? Like it's a constant assessment. And my goal in that is that you don't end up burned out. And I'll share a bit about my testimony as we go and my experience, because I realized very quickly I was burned out, I felt stagnant, like I wasn't moving anywhere, for good or for bad. I felt like my relationships were suffering. I felt like even when I did things that were fun, it took so much energy that I couldn't enjoy it when I was there. I wasn't present. I found myself going to a therapist for the first time of my adult life, right? And feeling like I was going to lose my job, not because I was a caregiver in the sense that my job shunned that, right? It was more, I felt like I was going to lose my job because I didn't feel like I was giving my best. And I am someone who's very driven. Now, granted, sometimes because you're driven and you work hard and you do all the things, you find yourself that you meet expectations, but you want to exceed. You want to go above and beyond. And I felt like, man, we're at a place in our life where this is where I should be able to just like kill the game. And I just felt like I couldn't get my footing. And so I started therapy specifically because I was like, I got to get this under control. I don't know what's happening. And reached a place that I hope that you can find if you're not there right now. And when I reached that place, what I realized is I have dreams, I have goals, I have relationships, I have things that are important to me. And somehow, just with no intent, I seem to have fallen further away from all of those things. So, I'm hoping that you're not in that place, and as you embark upon your journey, that you're able to evaluate and take these assessments. But if you are at that place, we're going to figure out how to get back to you, okay? So, we're going to start with our list, the top 5 reasons why you should not become a caregiver. Number 1, an emergent situation. Right? There's something urgent, something dire. It requires an immediate response, and you raise your hand. Have you ever been in one of those meetings, right? It's a room full of people, and they ask someone to do a less than desirable task, whatever it is. They want you to lead a committee. They want you to lead a fundraising drive. They want you to, I don't know, take on as director of a play, whatever it is, right? And in that room, they put out the big ask, and everyone is quiet. No one raises their hand. And then someone says, I'll do it. I mean, no one else, right? That's the wrong reason to become a caregiver. Just because there's a call and there's a need and no one else has responded doesn't mean that you need to be the one to raise your hand and say yes. Now, if that's the reason you're there, it's the wrong reason. And you need to do an assessment. You need to listen to the very next episode so you can figure out the right reasons and make sure those are there. Because what happens is when you raise your hand, sometimes people tell you, I'll help you, anything you need. Oh, I'm so glad you, if you, and I'll just tell you, no matter how good their intentions are, no one is going to help you at the level that you need help. I'm just telling you, right? Because when you say, can you, they're going to tell you about their life events. Oh, I'm on vacation that week. Oh, my job is sending me. Oh, I have a final. Oh, whatever it is. And it's not that they're inconsequential. The reality is their life, their goals, their dreams, their purpose is going to take precedence over your need. So you cannot go into this because they said they're going to help and I raised my hand and, right? That's the wrong reason to take this journey. All right? Number 2, guilt-driven decisions. So when I said that's the wrong reason, some of you fell right into number 2, which is there's no one else. I feel guilty. I should. It's my obligation. It's everyone expects me to do that. Not a good reason to do this, right? Even if there's no one else, that's not a good reason to do this because you feel guilty and you feel you must. There is something depending where you go to church and your faith and your beliefs, we used to call it witchcraft, where you try to get someone to do something they don't otherwise want to do. And it becomes quickly a burden. It becomes something that is hard to handle, that is difficult, right? You become bitter. Guilt is not a good reason to embark upon this journey. And it's not fair to your loved one, right? What better way for them to feel like an immediate burden for you to do this just because of guilt? That's not healthy, and it does not serve that relationship at all. And so I would beseech you that if you are only in the caregiver role because you're guilty, that you do listen to the episode on reasons why you should become a caregiver. And hopefully you find yourself in one of those reasons. And if you don't, that you take an assessment and figure out what it takes to get you to one of those 5 reasons, or if you should become a caregiver. Now, and let me kind of list this out, because when I talk about why you shouldn't, man, one of the things you find out as a caregiver, if your loved one needs any type of care, you have aides that come into the home, you end up in a hospital, maybe a short-term rehabilitation center or something of that nature, one of the things you'll find is a bunch of people in the healthcare caregiver industry that should not be in that industry. People who don't like people. Oh, it is dangerous, the amount of people who fall into that category. Make sure you're not that person, right? Make sure you're not doing something you're not equipped to do. And I mean that in every sense of the word, that you need to make sure that you have a heart and desire, right? That you're here for the right reasons and not because of these reasons we're going over today. Okay? Number 3, financial constraints. Now, this is like 2 sides of the penny. One, if you're not able to meet your own needs, I guarantee you can't meet the needs of a loved one. This is not the time to raise your hand and say, yes, they can come in my home. We'll figure it out. Because what you will find is, depending on what it is, it can become quickly insurmountable. And I'm going to give you just a free tip. If your loved one goes to the hospital, if your loved one needs an aid, if your loved one needs whatever it is, right? One of the first things people are going to ask for is a guarantor. And they're going to want you to sign that line. Do not sign that line, right? They could find another agency. If they want you to serve as a guarantor for every expense, and it's supposed to come out of Medicare, Medicaid, whatever, right? If it's supposed to come out of the VA, do not sign that line as a guarantor. They're in the hospital, they need care, we need a guarantor. Do not sign. Because what happens is, where those bills would go away when your loved one passes and either be paid out of their estate, or if their estate is, there's nothing left, would go away, right? They will come after you and they will mortgage your future. If you are not financially capable of caring for yourself, I promise you're not capable of caring for another individual. So do not embark upon that journey if you're not financially capable. The second reason, so the other side of the coin, it is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, but people are like, I heard caregivers get a lot of money. The government will pay you good money to be a caregiver. I promise you it's not good money. I mean, unless you're working at the most low-level job and you're unhappy and unsatisfied and all the things, right? This is not it. You're not getting rich off of this. And the people who tell you that, I don't know. The people who tell you that have no insight. There is compensation that you can receive. I personally don't receive compensation. But in my personal situation, I don't receive compensation because what I want from the VA, and we'll talk about veterans benefits and such in another episode, but from the VA, I need the caregivers, the aides that come into the home. I needed that support. And they can give you a check, but then if you need any other support, you pay for it out of pocket, and that money goes away quickly. And I can't even tell you how quickly it goes away. So, and we'll talk about cost of an aid and what that looks like. Like, we're really going to break down this process and what it means. But I'm telling you right now, if you think you're going to get rich and your loved ones are like, hey, you should do it because you can make, it's really good money. No, it's not. Some programs require that you're full-time caregiving. And if you have a full-time job, whether you work from home or not, that's not going to suffice. You don't want to get yourself in that situation. All right. Number 4. This is a big one. An unwillingness to perform all of the tasks that your loved one needs. So what does that mean? If your loved one needs bathing, toileting, dressing, feeding, right, therapy, workout, whatever it is, if you are one of those individuals who are like, well, I can do everything but toileting. I'm not, we have aides come in that are going to do that. No, I'm not going to do that part. But other than that, well, I'm going to tell you right now, you will find that you have an industry of really great people who are really good at what they do, but it's an industry of people that are performing those services. You'll find some that are not as consistent, but life will happen, right? Their car will break down. It'll be a holiday and they're not able to come. They'll be sick, whatever it is, and you'll find yourself in a position where you are on deck to perform the care. They can't come that day, and it's on you. Whether you're going to do it day to day or not, you need to have a willingness. If you have some kind of cultural or personal conviction that won't allow you to bathe or care for a loved one of the opposite sex, you need to evaluate that, because you will be in that position that you will have to do something. What you don't want to risk is that you say, ooh, I can't do it, won't do it, and then it becomes neglect. Okay? Be willing and able to do all the things. Whether you have to do it or not, whether someone else comes in or not, you need to be willing and able, because invariably a day will arise, well, you're up on deck, right? All right, number 5. The number 5 reason that you should not become a caregiver if you have an inability to ask for help. Asking for help requires a level of vulnerability, and it requires you to expose yourself. I need help. And let me tell you, don't ask for help when you're at a point where you're ready to pull your hair out and you act like you're burned out and all the things. It's too late. Ask for help on day 1. And when I talk about ask for help, I mean your loved one should be doing everything that they're able to do. Right? If you have a loved one that has a loss of functionality in one of their limbs, let them use the other one. Wash your face, wash half your body, whatever they can do. Right? If they are cognizant and they're able to, lucid, able to make phone calls, arrange their own appointments, let them do that. If you have a sibling in another state that can help you coordinate and talk to the doctor, type up a message and tell them, this loved one has this need, let them do that, right? If you have a friend that says, You let me know any way I can help, right? Our traditional response is, oh no, you're good. I don't need anything, just prayers. I'm telling you right now, pray for me all you want, but yes, here's how you can help me. And if you don't have a list of how people can help you, you need to stop right now and figure out what that is. They can help you by coming to sit with your loved one so you can go out and get something to eat. You can rest, you can relax, you can take a vacation. You need someone to come sit with your loved one and hang out with them, talk to them, play a game with them, right? What else do you need? You need someone that can, right, go to the appointment with them, someone that can, whatever. You understand me? Sometimes the way you need help is just your friend coming to see about you, right? Come to the house. What you'll find is sometimes people put up barriers and walls because your house begins to feel like a hospital. People don't necessarily want to come by. Sometimes there's smells and things that are, man, get you some really good fragrances, do the thing, right? Like invite people to your home. Let them come and sit with you and have tea. Have adult conversation, right? All those things. You need help. There's no world where you can be stoic and give your loved one the type of care they need and care for yourself. All right? You've got to care for yourself. So, those are the top 5 reasons why you should not become a caregiver. If you see yourself in that list, we're going to change those mindsets. We're going to look at the top 5 reasons why you should tune in for the very next episode. I encourage you. You have purpose. You have a plan. You have all the things. They still exist. Those goals are still there. Those ambitions, those desires, those hopes are still there. We're not throwing them to the wayside, not even for a period of time. One of the things you'll find is that your loved one, even if they've been given a dismal prognosis, being with loved ones and the type of care that you're going to provide and the things that you're going to do, you'll find that it can extend life expectancy. It is not fair to yourself to put your life on hold for a year, 2, 3, decade, right? We're going to keep moving forward, and I look forward to taking the journey with you. As always, remember to take care.